Yo, what's up? Today we're going to check out how to record your performance with the Gamepad controller. Today I'm using the N64. And first, most simple thing to do is to open a new audio track, do audio from resampling, and record that. It will record all the output from your master track, including all the mastering effects that you have there, or whatever effects you have on the main track. But if we want to record our performance as kind of an Ableton project, so we can go back and edit automations and stuff like that, we have to do a few things. And I didn't want to make the device more complicated because we have those things already built in Ableton. So in a previous video, we talked about the IAC drivers or internal MIDI drivers when we can use Ableton's MIDI mapping mode with the Gamepad control. But what about joysticks and things you can map using the modulation system? So if we open up the settings right here, I can map, for example, this joystick, let's map it to the filter. But it's using Ableton's modulation system, which won't record automation once we record our beat, our track. So what we can do is we can use under MIDI effects, we have a built-in CC control. I can send any CC number, let's say 20, map my joystick to that knob, and now using the IAC drivers, we just do regular MIDI mapping. So if I load an auto filter, I'm going to go back to my Gamepad control. I'm going to keep it just a MIDI track because I need to send MIDI to the IAC driver, and I'm going to go to the auto filter, MIDI map, and now I can MIDI map regularly. So when I record my project, let's show automation, I can just record regular automation. So I've made a device for you. It's just a preset for the Gamepad control. Oh, where is it? Here it is. Gamepad control CC out. And this will already have all the things mapped. You might have to go to a different page. Here it is, the joystick. I mapped it using the PS5 controller because that's the most elaborate one with all the controls, the touchpad, the gyroscope, all of that. So it's already mapped. You just got to set up your IAC driver. Then you can go to MIDI mapping mode and just map everything that you want to map to, just like a regular MIDI controller. Now, let's say check out some more advanced MIDI techniques in a project I have here with some dub music. Okay, so here I have my MIDI track with the Gamepad control and that preset I just showed you with the CC control, so everything is already mapped, so I can use it. This is being sent to the IAC driver, so I have this internal MIDI routing. I have another track, another empty MIDI track, that is getting MIDI from the Gamepad, which is this track. And is sending out MIDI to this drum rack right here to play some instruments. So first, if I go to MIDI mapping mode, I mapped this scene up and down and launch, so I can go up and down scenes, and I can go also launch the scenes. And we saw that in a previous video. I'll put a link to that MIDI setup with the Gamepad control. We saw that. Nice. But now I can also route other controls to this drum pad. I can play instrument. Here I put some random MIDI effect and a scale MIDI effect to play it. I even excluded those controls that I don't want to trigger because I'm using them for just up and down scenes. I don't want them to send MIDI to the drum rack, so I excluded them. As you can see, they're not triggering any chain with an empty MIDI effect rack and just a key zone here. So that's if you want to exclude buttons to not also send a note. Nice. I also have, let's go back to the Gamepad. I have this button right here. If we open this up, this function as the L2 or the ZL, the back trigger, if you're on a Switch Pro controller. And it's already mapped here. I went to MIDI mapping mode and mapped it to the send knob of track 1. And that's sending to this dub delay right here. I also have the joystick, which have the X and Y. And if you remember, we have two modes for the X and Y. Y it's XY, so I can go all the way from left to right. And one is trigger, so as soon as you move the knob up and down, it's going to trigger all the way 100%. which is great for turning on effects and then controlling the effects. So I have it mapped, again, just with regular MIDI mapping mode, to this auto filter right here. So when I move the knob, it turns on the filter, and then I can control the filter like this. So now essentially we're not using the modulation system of Ableton, we're just using the MIDI system. So I can just hit record, and all my performance will be recorded and captured with automation, so I can then later go on and edit whatever I need to edit. So I also have these tracks armed because I want to play them. I'm playing some samples here. So they're armed, and here it's going to capture the MIDI that is being sent to the drum rack. So let's just, I'm going to just hit record, I'm going to play some, and we're going to see it with the automation and everything. Sweet. So now, let's stop it. If I go here, let's go back to arrangement. And if I open up the automation, let's go open this, and we can see we have, let's say, go back to automation, go back to arrangement, and we have all our automation here recorded. I also had some of these, and of course, all the notes, whatever we need. So now when we play back, it's going to be exactly the same as our performance, but we captured it so we can continue edit whatever we need. So to recap, you do need the CC control and map whatever you want to map into the CC control, and then send it out to your internal MIDI. If you're on a Mac, it's the ISC driver. And then you can just capture and use regular MIDI mapping mode and use your Gamepad control as a regular MIDI controller. So I'll catch you next time.